Hey everybody, welcome back to Smart Baseball, the channel that talks about everything baseball. So today we're talking about, since we're at mid-season here at the All-Star break, we're going to talk about my predictions for how the MLB will be looking at the end of the season. So let's get into it. So first off, I'm going to guess that the AL East champion at the end of the year is going to be the Boston Red Sox. Right now, here at midseason, they're only 1.5 games over the Tampa Bay Rays. Very talented team with big prospects like Shane Baz, Wander Franco, and other guys coming up soon or already up. Vidal Brujan as well. So it's going to be tough for them to keep that lead that they have, but I do believe that they're going to end up being AL East champs. Moving on, AL Central, Chicago White Sox. So far here at midseason, they have crushed competition in the AL Central, but I'm not that surprised because AL Central is typically the weakest division in baseball. Them and the NL Central, they're pretty typically weak divisions. The White Sox have an 8-game lead going into the second half of the season, so I definitely expect them to hold that. Moving on, AL West, the Astros have come back and taken the lead in their division. They are 3.5 games ahead, and I believe that they will indeed keep the lead over the Athletics. NL East, New York Mets, I think that they will keep the lead over the Atlanta Braves, who are really struggling. I live in Alabama, so everyone's either a Braves fan or a Cardinals fan. I'm neither, but you hear about the Braves if you're down here, and the Braves are really struggling. With their roster, they should be 10 games over even, and they have never broken over 500 yet this season, so I think the Mets and their talented pitching rotation, they're going to keep the lead. NL Central, I'm going to say the Milwaukee Brewers win. They are red hot right now. They're starting to cool down, and they really just hit they had a perfect storm in that division. The Cubs, who were in first, they hit like a 10-game losing streak at the same exact time that the Brewers had a 10-game winning streak. So they really made out well. I think they're going to end up winning, but by like 1 or 2 games. It's going to be really close in that division, in my opinion. They're 4 games ahead going into the second half of the season. Next, NL West, I'm going to say the Los Angeles Dodgers win. Right now they're 2 games behind, so this is the first division winner that I'm going to say is actually not in first place right here at the half. At the moment, the Giants are beating them by 2 games. They're 2 games behind. The Padres are 6 games behind, and the Rockies and the Diamondbacks are behind ungodly totals, like 30 games here already. I mean, they have the 3 best teams in baseball and the 2 worst in the same division, so it's a very odd division. But I say the Dodgers end up winning because, number one, I think the Giants are going to make the playoffs. They definitely should, and I definitely think they will. I just don't think that they're better than the Dodgers and the Padres, so I expect to see the Dodgers on top of that division. AL champions, I just can't see the Astros losing, honestly. I think they did win the 2018 World Series because of their cheating, but last year they did great. They nearly made the World Series again without cheating, so I don't think it's much of a problem for them, especially for the individual player stats, like Altuve having a monster year this year, Correa having his best year, and hopefully they're not cheating, because if they were, like, their whole team would be kicked out of baseball, new franchise, hopefully. NL champions, I gotta say the Padres. My favorite player, Manny Machado, plays on them, and so I watch them a lot, and oh man, I think they're underperforming for their team right now. They're 53-40, which is still great record, but I expect them. They're only 6 games behind of the Giants, the best team in the NL. I really don't see them slowing down, and I think that they're going to end up winning the NL championship as a wild card team. So that's going to be interesting see. I think it's either the Dodgers or the Padres going to win that, and I think they're both going to end up. I think the Padres are going to be wild cards. So that's that. In the World Series, I know we're over halfway in the season, but I gotta say the Padres. I just don't see them losing to anyone, even the Astros. Even though the Astros are doing so well this year, I just don't see the Padres losing. Really, they are such a great team with Machado, with Tatis. Their pitching rotation is amazing. Cronenworth doing great. Will Myers being good. I mean, their team is stacked right now. I mean, their relief pitchers are hitting grand slams at this point. They're doing really good. So now let's get on to awards. I'm going to say AL MVP, Max Stassi. Just kidding. Shohei Ohtani's going to win, no doubt. He's already won it for himself. He's already over 30 homers at the All-Star break. He's hit 33, and he's almost struck out 100 men, so he's on pace for over 162 strikeouts and 60 homers. So crazy numbers he's putting up. Expect the same from him. NL MVP, this one I had mental battles. DeGrom, Tatis. It's DeGrom right now. He's on pace for setting the all-time ERA record. I'm not sure if I think he will. I think he's going to make it close. He's at like 0.97 ERA. The record is 1.12 by Bob Gibson in 1968. I really think he's going to get close. It's going to be very interesting to see. It might come down to his last start, so it's going to be a big thing to keep track of. So I think DeGrom's going to win NL MVP, even with all his injuries. I think Tatis at some point will get injured because that's just his trend. He gets injured a lot. This year he's putting up numbers better than everyone with less games. So I think he could also be an MVP, but right now I'm thinking DeGrom. AL Cy Young, Lance Lynn, he's doing phenomenal. He's slowed down a little bit. His ERA is bloated compared to like the 0.50 it was. He was actually hanging with DeGrom for a little bit. Most people were just focused on DeGrom because Jacob DeGrom, his career ERA is like 2.30, so he's definitely Hall of Fame bound. And also Cy Young, Jacob DeGrom, because if you win the MVP as a pitcher, and you better win Cy Young award. Also, another thing, DeGrom should, in my opinion, this is kind of crazy, but DeGrom should be a two-way player like Ohtani. He should start practicing somewhere in the field, like first base or outfield, and hit, because he's hitting this year too. It's not just the pitching that's outrageous. He is hitting the ball. He is his run support, and that's how he's like 8-2 right now. His own hitting. He's like hitting 450. He hasn't hit a homer yet, but he's driving in a ton of runs, scoring a ton of runs. He's having a great year hitting as well. AL Rookie of the Year, there are a lot. And in my opinion, it was a mental battle between Adolis Garcia, the outfielder for the Rangers, and Ryan Mountcastle, the outfielder for the Orioles. And I'm an Orioles fan, so I would have the tendency to lean towards him, but I think it's going to be Adolis Garcia because he's hitting for power, driving in runs for a team that doesn't have much of that. Same thing with Mountcastle. Him and Trey Mancini are the only good hitters on the Orioles. And I'd be the first one to admit that the Orioles are awful. Record-wise, they're better than the Diamondbacks, but I think we're the worst team because the Diamondbacks have some better players just underperforming or injured. So that's AL Rookie of the Year. NL Rookie of the Year, I don't see it being anyone else other than Trevor Rogers at the moment because he has been dominating so far this year for the Miami Marlins. A lefty rookie starting pitchers typically don't fare well, but he has been phenomenal with an ERA under 2.50 so far, striking out a ton of guys. I have him on my fantasy team, and I couldn't be more happy with how he's doing. AL Comeback Player of the Year. So, thanks for watching. If you are, of course, still watching, If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe and like the video. Also, drop a comment below. Tell me if you think I was wrong on anything and give another award that I might have missed. Just tell me your thoughts on the video. Thanks for watching. Stop recording.